Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is early morning on Sunday. It's the long weekend here in Canada. It's Labor Day weekend. And today I want to do my wrap-up video. And I'm really excited. I love doing these types of videos, but I'm a little tired. I've had way too many late nights and early mornings just with everything going on, so forgive me if I seem really tired in this video. But a lot has happened this month, a lot of changes, and it's been quite a nostalgic month. A lot of big events have occurred. My daughter is starting preschool on Tuesday after the long weekend, so very nostalgic, very bittersweet. And she's just growing up so much. She's recently also outgrown a lot of her clothes. She's now wearing 4T even though she's only 2. So it's been a very exciting but very quick month. This month just flew by, and I can't believe that we're already in September. It's September 1st today when I'm recording the video. So I pulled for this month and for this video, I pulled the Land from the Witch Sister Tarot. And I definitely think that that is the perfect card for this month. I also pulled the Five of Waters in the Witch Sister Tarot. So it just perfectly sums up recently, and I actually just closed out my journal. If you guys are not new to my channel, you know I started this journal back in January, so I've had this a long time. It's taken me a very long time to complete this journal. And it feels just so good to finally be done this journal and to move on to the next one. And I definitely feel the connection to the Land card when I read the guidebook entry. And also when I closed out the journal a couple of days ago, I got the sense that these journals that I create for myself, they really tell the story of my life. Although I never really thought about it that way. To me, it's very private, it's very personal. So, and for me, stories are something that you share with others. So it was kind of weird for me to think of these journals as really telling the story of my life, but that's really what they do. And it just was a beautiful moment where I finally really understood that the connection to the Land card here, or the World card, as most of you would know if you're not as connected to the Witch Sister Tarot as I am. I have to admit that the past year has definitely been a very challenging year. It's really pushed me out of my boundaries. It's pushed me out of a lot of the old ways that I was thinking. My experiences have really shaped me into who I am today, and the Land card perfectly states that. As well as my experiences really do reflect the Five of Waters, at least in the Witch Sister Tarot. There were very many difficult trials and events that occurred starting in January to now. And it really has changed who I am. It changed how I view the world and my experiences. So I'm definitely feeling the World card. I'm feeling that a significant chapter of my life has come to a close, and we are now starting a new one as I'm opening up my new journal and getting that started. And as I've started a new journey in my employment, to a certain extent, I've returned to an older job, but it's new in the sense that they've offered me 2 roles. It's 2 part-time jobs. So I'm effectively working a full-time job just in 2 different roles. So it's been a very drastic change to how I was living previously and my roles although it's kind of similar to a certain extent, I'm doing some similar things, but it is different also in some significant ways. So I'm really excited to see where things go from here, how things take off, and also a little scared, a little nervous. I don't handle change very well. I never did. As most of you are well aware from my childhood, there was a lot of upheaval. My childhood was plagued with instability. We moved around a lot, and I just basically never knew where we were going to end up. So I've never really gotten over that to a certain extent. So it is something that I consciously have to work with and really try to improve that. But I don't handle change very well. It's a huge thing about me. So I love doing these types of videos. I like to go over the significant decks, the decks that I was really drawn to this month, as well as the makeup products, because I do view those things as very significant to my spiritual practice. And I think we're going to start with the decks. So as always, honorable mentions, Wild Unknown Archetypes and the Witch Sister Tarot. So I will show you the Witch Sister Tarot just because I did have a significant rumination this month, or I should say last month, because it's already September 1st, but we'll get to that eventually. You will see me looking at my notes. If you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing, because I have a terrible memory, especially if I'm not sleeping, which I'm not really sleeping right now. So I'm going to start with a more recent deck purchase of mine, the Mother Morts Carnival of Souls Oracle deck. This is a beautiful little baby. I am really enjoying my experience with it. Very high quality. I'm pretty sure this is a rock pool deck, if I remember correctly. It's got this beautiful green edging, and all the cards are embossed. I did a full reveal on the channel, so I will try to link that in the description box down below if I remember. But absolutely stunning deck, and now that I've gotten to work with it, it is a very interesting deck. I almost kind of find it gossipy. Like, this deck is incredibly divinatory. This is probably one of my most divinatory decks in my collection. This one, it wants to tell me what's going on. It will tell me that there are conversations taking place. It likes to dish. It likes to talk about the dirt that's happening. And you can pick up on it right away. You know what it's talking about. It's just incredibly powerful. It's very potent. It is not one to be messed with. Like I said, it will tell you what's going on. I've had sort of that experience lately where there are a couple of decks that have joined my collection that are, at least recently, even ones. There's another one that I just recently picked up. It's not new to my collection, but I recently picked it up to work with, and it's also incredibly divinatory. So I'm having these interesting experiences with these decks where they want to tell me stuff that's going on. Where typically, I don't know, with my experience, they're not always divinatory. It's more about what's going on in my emotional landscape or in my psychological landscape. Lately, they really want to tell me things that are going on, things that are happening, like conversations that are taking place that I'm unaware of. So it's interesting to see this shift in my card work. So that is Mother Morts Carnival of Souls. I'm still getting to know this deck. I do like to pull it out every other day or so. I do have another deck that's kind of new to my collection as well that I'm sort of rotating. This one and that one. So I do find that it's taking me a little bit more time to get to know this deck just because I do have another deck that is sort of new to my collection, and that's the Nameless one, another deck that I was reaching for all throughout the month of August. Beautiful deck. This is an independently produced deck. And it comes with both an oracle and a tarot deck. So it is quite, it's an investment. I'm not going to lie to you. I did check her website a few days ago. They were having a sale. So if this is something that piques your interest and you're waiting for a sale, I would now go and tell you that this could be the perfect moment for you. This deck is it's very witchy. I do find that it sort of shifts. It will tell me divinatory things, but it'll also tell me what's going on in my psychological landscape. So I'm happy that it can play both roles, but I am still getting to know this deck. It has this very mysterious energy. I do feel that it aligns itself very well to Hecate's energy. Another recent thing that I'm really feeling incredibly drawn to Hecate right now as I'm going through a significant transition in my life. She's always been here, of course. She's one of my, I consider her a matron. Her and Lilith, I think, are matrons of mine. And I'm feeling incredibly drawn to her. I'm feeling her presence incredibly strongly. I go through periods where it's more Lilith, and then I go back to it's very Hecate, and the energy and tone and how it just dominates my day. I'm getting a lot more symbols and signs from her, lots of 333s on the clock. That's a huge one. I tend to see a lot of those, and I'm encountering a lot of moths and dealing with a lot of moth energy. They're a familiar and a guide that I've been dealing with significantly on my path for the past couple of months, and I'm feeling a very strong connection again. And I've always connected them to really seeking the light within the darkness. They're strongly associated with Hecate as well as Hades. There are associations to Hades as well sometimes. But I do feel that moth energy aligns itself very well with Hecate, and I do feel that she sends them to me, and they are excellent guides for getting you through transitions and transformations. They really do come through, and I feel that connection again right now as I am going through this significant change in my life, feeling incredibly drawn to moth energy and working with moths. Feeling them they're very powerful in this as well. So I've been pulling a lot. That card was from the Botanical Oracle. This deck I have dedicated to Hecate. This is a deck that I only work with Hecate. I've also more recently gotten a viewer request for me to do a full reveal and review of the deck, and that is something that I'm working on right now, especially as I've been working a lot with Hecate, and of course this is the deck that I work with her with, so I've been using this deck a lot lately in my conversations with Hecate. This deck is incredibly powerful. It's very witchy. There's a lot of herbal references, as well as there's a lot of cards that are connected to the life, death, and rebirth cycle. It's very liminal in its energy, very witchy. So I've been enjoying really working with this deck again. When I work with this deck, I like to journal. I like to use this deck intuitively. If you're not new to my channel, you know that. So I don't work with the guidebook. It doesn't come with a guidebook, it comes with a pamphlet. So this is, and to me, a lot of the references in the pamphlet for the card meanings just don't line up with what I feel intuitively. So I've just, I've completely neglected it for the most part. I just work with this deck purely intuitively, and I can go on for pages and pages and pages about what I think the card is saying to me and what I can feel. But this is the Botanical Oracle. This again is, it's a very powerful deck. It's really come to my aid during this huge time of transition in my life, and I absolutely love it. Another deck that I've been really enjoying and having a very interesting experience with is a Compendium of Witches. So I purchased this, I believe, last year. I've had it for quite some time, and this is another deck that has really stepped forward in a divinatory way. It's telling me what's going to happen before it's happened. And I do find it very powerful in that it's, again, another really witchy deck. You will see that theme as we move closer and closer to Halloween. I'm very drawn to the witch archetype. I will pull out all my witch decks. If there is a witch deck out there, I will most likely have it. Or I have plans to pick it up eventually, because I just love things all witchy. The witch archetype is one of my favorites. I've always been drawn to it ever since I was a child. And I absolutely love this deck. It's so witchy. I want to get the artist's art book of this. She's just, her shop is on a break, but I was going to purchase it, and then I realized they were on a break, but it is something I plan to do as soon as they're back. But it is just absolutely beautiful. I'm really enjoying my experience this month with this deck as well. It's just some of the most beautiful artwork I've ever seen. Other honorable mentions, of course, my Cowgirls and Aliens, as well as my Goddess of Love Tarot. If you're not new to my channel, you know, I work with these decks as part of my self-care ritual. I know I still need to do my ritual video. I've gotten a lot of viewer requests lately, so I'm trying to work on those first, and then I'll get that video out as soon as I have the time. But the Goddess of Love Tarot is one that I absolutely love and enjoy working with when I'm about to do a self-love or self-care ritual. And another one that's kind of new to my channel, I didn't do an unboxing of this deck, but it's the Cowgirls and Aliens. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this on my channel though. It's an absolutely beautiful deck. I've been really enjoying working with it alongside the Goddess of Love Tarot for my self-care routine. But I love this archetype deck. I find it really helpful for just really stepping up for yourself. The artwork's absolutely beautiful. I've mentioned how it kind of reminds me of the adult cartoon Archer. But it's very beautiful artwork. I've been really enjoying just looking at the card images and getting to know the archetypes in this deck. I haven't been pulling as much for these decks as I usually do because of the significant changes in my life right now. I just haven't always had the time to reach for the decks, unfortunately. My husband works nights, so most of the time when I have the time to pull cards for myself, he's in bed, and this is my bedroom is my card space. So it's a bit tricky. I'm still trying to figure everything out, but it is what it is. In the month of August, I recently had a rumination on the color brown. If you're new to my channel, I practice a lot of color magic, usually alongside glamour magic. So I like to use color predominantly in my craft. And I've had a significant rumination on the color brown, especially in connection to the King of Stones of the Witch Sister Tarot. So as most of you are well aware, the element of earth and the color brown, they go very well together. A lot of the earth is brown, soil, dirt, there's tree trunks. To me, I like to connect with the color brown. I find it very grounding. I tend to use the color brown if I am approaching a task that requires a lot of time and dedication. If I need that kind of slow moving earth energy, I tend to use the color brown. But to me, I always understood the color, or the stones that are also brown can be used to really access ancient knowledge and wisdom. But a lot of the earth in general, it's been around for much longer than us. It's seen our ancestors, it's seen our parents grow, our grandparents grow, especially if they're connected to a specific region. So it has that element to it as well, especially the stones, the earth, the dirt, the trees. The trees can be so old in our regions. So it has that element to it as well. It can be used to symbolize and access knowledge and wisdom from those who came before us, such as our ancestors. Since they are connected to the earth, having been once living and are now buried beneath it, becoming one with it again. The color brown reminds us that so much of the brown earth, the stones, dirt, soil, tree trunks, and roots have been here way before us and will remain way after we're gone. It reminds me of how in the King of Stones guidebook entry, it mentions how the King of Stones understands he is only guardian of the land and how he must pass his knowledge on. It's something that I find the King of Stones really does have that mentality. He understands that he's not going to be here forever. The king must be one with the land and wise enough to know he is only a temporary guardian, is what it says in the guidebook. So I did have that rumination on the color brown, especially in connection to the King of Stones. And of course, the Witch Sister Tarot, it's very connected to the earth element. There's a lot of browns and earth colors all throughout the deck, especially in the stones element, or suit, I should say, which represents the earth. But there's even in, like today I pulled the Nine of Waters, there's earth colors represented here. So there is that sense of life and death, and really being connected to the physical realm. There is that sense of time being your biggest limitation. It's considered a resource as well. It's connected to the earth element. And there's that intuitive knowledge now that we're not going to be here forever. So you can call upon the color brown to connect to the slow and steady quality of the land, to complete tasks that require a dedication of our time and energy over a period of time. It can help us access wisdom and knowledge of the ancients, ground into our physical bodies, and experience the present moment. So now I'm done with the tarot and oracle part of this video. So if you're only here for that aspect of the video, now would be the perfect time to go ahead and click off, because now I'm about to start into the glamour magic, color magic, the actual makeup part of this video, the tools of my craft. I do have a couple of new products that I did want to talk about. I did sort of touch briefly on them in my last wrap-up video. And I did have another rumination. So, as I've mentioned earlier in this video, the transitions that I'm experiencing have really made me want to slow down and just try to live in the moment. And that there are there's a situation right now with my work that's kind of left it open in the air. I'm not sure where I'm going to be tomorrow, kind of a thing. I'm not sure what's going to happen. So I've just been trying to live really presently in the moment, try to get the best out of my experience every day, as it could change. And I've been working a lot with my cards in that sense. Like I said, some divinatory things were popping up, but for the most part, I was reaching for the cards with the intention of how can I be the most present today, and how can I get the most out of this experience today, because I understand that I might not be here tomorrow, kind of a thing. So I've pulled for a lot of different makeup this month, but these are predominantly the ones that really stood out to me. These are really what I wore most of the time. As I'm going through this really kind of murky, unclear transition, I don't really know what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen. For the most part, things are up in the air. I've been really drawn to what I've lovingly nicknamed the Swamp Witch makeup look, with lots of smoky brown eyes, kind of imperfect brown smoky eye, kind of looking a little smudgy, or like very swampy, honestly, or bog witch. So I've been pulling a lot from my Croc palette from Klarity Cosmetics. Now a shade did come to me broken in this palette, so I'm a little scared to show you the palette because I don't want it to go everywhere. I was able to repress it, but it broke again recently, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I guess I'll try to repress it again. But I've been pulling a lot from this palette. I'm wearing it today, particularly this it's like a burnt mustard color, and I love this brown. It's a very cool tone brown. It looks really nice on the eye, and like I said, it does really go with that swamp bog witch vibe that I've been really feeling so connected to right now, as things are so weird. Another palette that I've been pulling a lot from is the High Temp palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. I just recently picked two palettes up from them, the jellyfish one and this one. I've been pulling from the jellyfish as well, but I wouldn't say that it really stood out to me this month as much as this one. The High Temp palette. I've used a lot of the shades in this palette, particularly this one. You can see I put quite a dent into it. Not this one, sorry, the muggy one. This one. I put a dent in it. I absolutely love this color. I've worn it a lot this past August. Oh my gosh. Glowing is also really nice, and Scald is this gorgeous brown. It's so soft, it's so creamy. Every time I put it on, it's smooth. It blends out beautifully. The Croc palette, I find like the formula is a little bit drier, but like I said, I do like that imperfect. I like that imperfect smoky eye, and I find that it just goes really well with that swamp witch vibe that I'm going for. The High Temp though, I find that these shadows just blend out beautifully. They don't last as long as the Klarity Cosmetics shadows, in my experience at least, even when I use the same primer. These ones they'll come off in my crease because I do have hooded eyes, so this is not like an uncommon thing for me, but I do find the Klarity Cosmetics formula, it doesn't budge. It'll stay on me all day. It doesn't matter that my eyes are hooded. So I did want to mention that. The only thing is I think the quality is, it's amazing with the packaging. I'm obsessed with this brand. I just purchased the Gargoyle, the Halloween collection, just the Gargoyle palette. I didn't get anything else, but I'm very impressed with the quality. Unfortunately, Klarity Cosmetics, I do understand that they have sort of a reputation for having broken eyeshadows. I haven't really experienced that until more recently. This one came with a broken shadow. And I purchased one of the mermaid palettes as well with this one, and that one came with a broken shadow. And I've recently had an older palette of theirs that I picked up a couple of months back, and a shadow broke on me very recently. So I'm not sure what happened with that, because I do try not to be too heavy-handed with my palettes. So I did want to go ahead and bring that information to you, especially if you are planning on picking up these palettes. I've had this experience with them recently, so I did want to make sure that you are aware of the situation. So I don't think I've mentioned on my channel my foundations. So I use two foundations. I really like the Pretty Fresh Colourpop foundation. Mine is like destroyed. I have to actually also pick up another one. I'm running out, but they're currently sold out of my shade. I like the light 40N for neutral. That's the shade that I have. The other foundation that I use is the Pure 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie foundation. I get this in LN for neutral 6 as well. So this is an incredible foundation. This one is, it's a very dewy foundation, so I like to set with powder. I just use the talc free one by Laura Mercier. I think Mercier or Mercier. I don't know, I'm too tired to remember how to pronounce that, but this one is a very dewy foundation. It looks really beautiful on the skin. It has this gorgeous finish. I set with powder just because I do sweat a lot, and I just find that it helps it last longer, and that this is a very beautiful foundation. It also goes on really nicely if you have product on your skin, whereas this one I was having issue putting this on. Like, this foundation needs a dry face. It wants a dry face, but if your face is dry, it goes on beautifully and it lasts all day. I just set with powder. I do like to set extra powder in on my chin and upper lip area just because I do sweat a lot in these areas. But those are the two foundations that I use. I don't like any other foundations. They break me out. These are like the only two foundations that do not break me out. As I've mentioned, I have really weird skin. So a new product I picked up, I believe last month, is the Lash Paradise by L'Oreal Paris. This is an incredible mascara. I was using the Better Than Sex by Too Faced. You know, the everybody loves it, everybody uses it mascara. I absolutely hate it. I found it really globby. It would get all over my eyes, and it was just pissing me off, considering I spent a really pretty penny on it and it just wasn't giving me what I wanted. So a mascara that I swear by that I can't purchase here anymore is the Butter London. I believe it's called Double Decker. That's like my favorite of all time mascara. I can't pick it up here anymore in Canada. I don't know what happened with that, but if you can get that mascara, get it. Okay, it will change your life. Another newish product, I did touch briefly on it in my last wrap-up video. I went ahead and picked up these. I got the Butter Bronzer and the Butter Melt Blush by NYX. These are new. All the beauty tubers that I watch, I like one. I think her name is Heather. She just does the most beautiful eyeshadow. She's a smaller content creator. I tend to like the smaller content beauty tubers. And everybody I watch was recommending these products. So I picked them up. I have like a weird experience. The Butter Melt Bronzer, I would show it to you, but I broke it. I dropped it twice and it just shattered on me. But I think I got it a little too dark for my skin, but it was pretty much the only one that they had left that I could. The other shade that I think would be better for my particular skin tone, I'm so pale too, so it was sold out. But I picked this one up. I do find it's quite intense, and what I usually do is I'll put my foundation on and then I'll set it. I was doing that, and then I would put the bronzer on and it wouldn't move, and it was so pigmented. So I noticed that these products like a wet face. So if you wear foundation, apply this bronzer after you set your, or not set, but after you apply your foundation and your face is still wet. It likes a wet face. Or if you don't wear a foundation, maybe put cream on or moisturizer and then right away apply the bronzer, because it does really like a wet face. It glides on really beautifully and I can buff it out. Otherwise, if I do set my face and then I try to buff out the bronzer, it's like a nightmare. I've also been having an interesting experience with the broken bronzer, because I find that because it is so pigmented and dark for my skin color, or I guess skin tone, I like the little bits and pieces because I can just pick up a little bit on my brush and then kind of just use that and buff it out. I also picked up the Buttermelt Blush. So this is the most, I guess, purple shade I could get, which it's beautiful. I've been really enjoying working with this as well. I'm not using it today. I'm actually using a shade from the Croc palette, the same kind of mustardy burnt yellow color. I'm using that today, but this is really beautiful. I do recommend them. Again, you want a wet face. So if you don't set your foundation, these products are probably really perfect for you. Lipstick. I recently picked up from Klarity Cosmetics this, it's Lace Teddy, as well as the one I'm wearing today. But I picked this one up. It's a beautiful, it's like a very pale, almost gray toned, at least the way it looks on me with my skin tone. It's very gray toned purple, very cool toned. I have been really enjoying wearing this. It's like a really beautiful shade for the fall. I've been really enjoying how it looks, especially with the different eyeshadows that I do. I've been wearing it to work. It's a very interesting color. It's very unique. I don't have anything like this in my collection. And that's why I like Klarity Cosmetics. I do find that they have really interesting lipstick colors. They also smell like banana, which is unique. Most lipsticks smell like vanilla, so I like that. I think that also kind of sets them apart. Another one I've been wearing a lot is the Maybelline. It's the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink. This is in shade Globetrotter. It's a very warm brown shade. Perfect for the fall. It's beautiful. It's like a very warm kind of mid-tone brown. It goes with a lot of the Swamp Witch makeup looks that I've been really called to expressing myself with. But that is the summary of August. Like I said, I can't believe that this month is done. It's been such a crazy month, very fast month. Things are really moving and changing, and it's been a very unique experience for me. But yeah, no, that pretty much sums up this chapter of my life and the month of August. I'm really looking forward to moving into the fall. The weather is sort of getting cooler as time passes right now. It looks like the next upcoming week is gonna really, the temperature is gonna drop again. So I'm looking forward to transitioning to my fall wardrobe. I did pick up a couple of pieces because I've noticed my style has really changed. I've lost a little bit more weight as well, so I've had to really repurchase a couple of pieces in my wardrobe. So, and now I'm really drawn to the more earthy colors, the greens, the browns, the burnt oranges. So I'm really excited, and we're starting to see the leaves are changing color some more, so that's been really exciting, and I like pointing them out to my daughter. So yeah, some really big changes. I can't believe my daughter's going to preschool. Like, time is just flying by. I can't believe it. It's like my mama heart is just so happy. I can't believe how blessed I am to be able to have this experience, and I'm just so thankful, and I'm thankful for all of you, and thank you so much for watching. I can't believe people watch me. They're like interested in what I have to say. I'm so thankful for all of you, and I'm thankful for your requests as well. Like I said, I am trying to bang out those videos, and I can't believe it. And I've noticed that there's a lot of new subscribers, new faces here. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining my community, and I'm excited to see where this channel goes the next year. I do feel a huge shift coming, and I'm so excited to share my journey and my path with you guys. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.